Okay, but she's not coming to come to ask her. Once I see her, I told her. I applied to her. No, no, she had emailed me. See, she's so you can. I will forward it to you. So I thought I'll just inform you. But I like the student. We're going to meet you tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. On this special occasion of World Student Week, it is my privilege to welcome distinguished guests, dignitaries, our principal, Professor Beena Rai, our Girls Degree College, faculty members, and students. We are honored to have with us today Dr. Sanober Haider, Head of Department of History at Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Government PG College, Lucknow. Dr. Haider is a distinguished historian and an academician and clearly displayed her insights on the topic revolutions that shape the world. Her expertise will take us on a journey through the annals of time, exploring the pivotal revolutions that have shaped the world we live in today. We are honored to have her with us today. May I now request the principal, Professor Beena Rai, chairperson of IQAC, to welcome Dr. Haider with a sapling as a token of gratitude. We extend a warm welcome to the faculty members and students from other colleges of Lucknow. We are happy to welcome scholars from across the country who have joined us today online. As we celebrate World Student Week, we recognize the potential and creativity that students bring to the table. Today's event is an opportunity for us to come together, share ideas, and inspire one another. May I now request Principal Professor Veena Rai to welcome the chief guest.
नमस्कार सभी को। आज के वर्ल्ड स्टूडेंट वीक के आखिरी दिन हमारे बीच हमारे ही पुराने साथी प्रोफेसर सनोबा हैदर, हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट हिस्ट्री, नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस कॉलेज डिग्री कॉलेज की हैं। मेरे से ज्यादा ये इस कॉलेज को जानते हैं। आज इनका जो विषय है उसमें क्रांतियां जो विश्व को दिशा दी या विश्व को आकार दी। इस विषय पर आपके व्याख्यान के लिए हम सब खुद बहुत ज्यादा उत्साहित हैं। अपने ही महाविद्यालय में कभी पढ़ते हुए और उसके बाद पढ़ाते हुए और फिर मंच पर एक मुख्य अतिथि या विशिष्ट वक्ता के रूप में अपने ही कॉलेज के नई पीढ़ी को कुछ बताना, कुछ बोलना, अपने विचार व्यक्त करना इससे सुखद और आत्मिक अनुभव या आत्मिक खुशी कुछ हो ही नहीं सकती कि जिस महाविद्यालय में हमने पढ़ा पढ़ाया और आज उसी मंच से हम खड़े होकर बाकियों को अपने विचार व्यक्त कर रहे हैं और खास करके एक मुख्य अतिथि या विशिष्ट वक्ता के रूप में, तो ये एक आत्मिक खुशी है। और निश्चित ही हमारे लिए भी एक बहुत ही खुशी का दिन है कि हमारी ही छात्रा आज हमारे लिए गौरव का क्षण है। मैं आपका इस आपके ही पुराने महाविद्यालय में मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में हार्दिक अभिनंदन और स्वागत करती हूँ। मानव मस्तिष्क हमेशा से नए विचारों को प्रोत्साहित करता रहा है, नए विचारों को जन्म देता रहा है और उसी मस्तिष्क से सृजन, विध्वंस सभी कुछ निकलता है। लेकिन जो क्रांतियां हैं वो हमेशा एक सृजन, एक नई दिशा देने के लिए हुई है और उन्होंने हमेशा विश्व को एक नया आकार, एक नया शेप दिया है। इसी पर और ऑल द फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, सभी शिक्षिकाओं का, सभी छात्राओं का, जो हमारी प्रिय छात्राएं हमारे बीच बैठी हैं, आपका इस व्याख्यान सीरीज में स्वागत है, अभिनंदन है और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आप मां के विचारों से प्रभावित होंगे।
Dr. Sanober Haider is an avid Lucknowite and accomplished historian, has made significant contribution to the district administration in Lucknow, particularly through her work with the NIC and Lucknow Gazetteer. A dedicated scholar or a friend in history, she holds a PhD on law and justice in the United Province, which provided her deep insight into the administrative structures of colonial Awadh and the rich heritage of Lucknow. An active academician, she has published several research papers in national and international journals, edited multiple scholarly works, and organized seminars and webinars. As the founder of our Girls Degree College Alumni Association, she continues to remain actively involved in academic and cultural initiatives. Dr. Sanober Heather is a frequent visitor to the college and is well known to the institution for her enduring association and valuable contributions. Without further ado, I'd like to invite our chief guest, Dr. Sanober Heather, to share her insights and experience with us on revolutions that shape the world. Madam, please join us. We look forward to your inspiring words. A very good morning to all of you. I'm really delighted to be here once again. I'm very thankful to the principal, Professor Rai, to Dr. Ranjana Krishna for providing me this opportunity and a platform to be able to talk to you. I'm also very grateful to all the faculty members and the students who have gathered here to listen to me talk about the various revolutions of the world. जैसे मैम ने कहा, क्रांति विश्व भर में अनेक क्रांतियां हुई हैं और क्रांति का सिग्निफिकेंस होता है चेंज और परिवर्तन से। जो जो भी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रेवोल्यूशंस हुए हैं दुनिया भर में, उनके बारे में आज चर्चा करेंगे विद स्पेशल एम्फेसिस ऑन द फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन। सो आई होप एवरीबडी इज रेडी टू लिसन टू मी टॉकिंग अबाउट द रेवोल्यूशंस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, स्पेशली द फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन ऑफ 1789। Can I have the PPT, please? All right, before we begin with the presentation, as ma'am was talking about me being an alumnus of this college, so I passed out in the year 2000. I did my graduation with English, History and Economics, and at that time, many of the teachers here are not there. but still Dr. Vashna has taught me, Dr. Krishna has taught me, Ma'am Katiyar has taught me. There are many teachers who have retired and some of them are still here. And here in college, I had a wonderful time as a student. Later on, I did a bit of teaching here also. So it was all wonderful and it's always very nice for me to come back here. So we are just waiting for the presentation to start. And before that, the presentation and the pictures actually you'll be able to really relate with what I'm talking about, especially with the pictures. But still, we can start with something. Should I send it again? This is not working. Then there are some technical glitches which are fine. So, when we talk about the revolutions of the world, and I'm sure आप सबने दो शब्द सुने होंगे, revolution और revolt. Can you please tell me revolution और revolt में क्या बारीक सा फर्क है? Don't consult your phones, please. Do not get onto internet and googling it. Just tell me what you understand in very rough understanding, whatever is possible. Revolution क्या होता है और revolt क्या होता है? Is there any minute difference? Can anybody tell me at the back? आपका जवाब गलत हो सकता है. Doesn't matter. At least you will try. Have you heard the word revolution and revolt? तो revolution क्या हो सकता है? और revolt क्या हो सकता है? All right. Somewhere close, not exact, but very well tried. So I'll just tell you what is a revolt. A revolt is a spontaneous activity that happens against a particular cause for that time or that circumstances only. Whereas a revolution is a longer process which leads to changes. So the stark difference, though very minute, is that revolt is spontaneous, short-lived, and for one particular purpose. Revolution is a longer process. It has many causes and years behind it, and it leads to permanent changes. So, when we talk about the revolution of the world, it is very important for me to mention to you about the revolt of 1857, which is more aptly defined as the first war of Indian independence. So, if you talk about the revolt of 1857, it was a short-lived activity with far-reaching consequences. Immediate cause and several other causes, but again, it was not so well organized. But as far as the revolution is concerned, it is a better organized event that has happened in history. Everybody must be knowing about the revolt of 1857, one of the watershed events in the history of India that finally led to our independence over a period of time, struggles, and a lot of sacrifices. So, coming to the revolutions of the world, now I'll further define revolution. It is a radical change. इसको परिवर्तन से हम associate करते हैं. Revolution आपने geography में पढ़ा है ना, movement होता है around the sun, so the seasons are changing. This is a geographical explanation. But when we talk about the historical explanation, revolution is something that leads to changes. क्रांति लाना या परिवर्तन induce करना is how we talk about revolution, and usually a revolution is targeted towards bringing about a social, political, economic change in the society. It is targeted against an organized and existing order and leads to powerful and long lasting changes. And in the present circumstances, you understand there can also be technological revolutions. Do you know about any technological revolutions that have happened? Are we living in an era of technology and technological revolutions? Yes or no? So you are the generation who is also witnessing technological revolutions with the coming in of the AI and the metaverse and so many things that we are using in our day-to-day life. So besides social, economic, political changes, there are also technological changes that are happening in today's world. Did we succeed? I'll explain to you about the other revolutions and then go on to the French Revolution. So आपको ये बात clear हो गई कि revolution क्या होता है, revolt क्या होता है, and what kind of revolutions can happen in the society which are targeted or directed against an organized social structure. It is a radical change. It can be against the existing and established forms of government. So some of the famous revolutions of the world include the French Revolution of 1789, American War of Independence, which is also called the American Revolution of 1775. Then there is the Haiti Revolution of 1901. And then we have the Chinese Revolution 1911, we have the Russian Revolution 1917. So these are some of the major uh, revolutionary movements that took place across the world. When we refer to the French Revolution, we understand that the French Revolution is an example demonstrating the power of the people. So this revolution was started by the commoners, by the common people, and it brought about some very consequential changes in the society and in the politics of France. I really need the pictures so that you're able to relate to what I'm talking about. So, you know what is the meaning of a monarchy? Who is a monarch? The king. And monarchy is the political system, political organization that is existing in that particular society. So, we are talking basically about kings and queens when we are talking about the monarchical system of government. So, France in the medieval ages was ruled by the Bourbon dynasty. You understand Vansh dynasty? There are so many dynasties that have ruled India over a period of time. Similarly, in the other countries of the world also, there were monarchies, and still some of the popular monarchies of the world we find in Nepal and we also find in England. Everybody knows there is a king and a queen in England. So there were other monarchies in different parts of the world, and so was France, ruled by a dynasty called the Bourbon dynasty. So this dynasty had been ruling for 200 years and they were absolute monarchy. Absolute monarchy means that there were no checks and balances on them. They were ruling the country by way of hereditary law, and they were called the Ancien regime or the ancient regime or the old regime that was controlling the politics in France. Don't you feel that if something has been ruling for a long time or if something has been existing for a long time and there are no reforms, it becomes stagnant and it starts to decay? Yes or no? If something is continuously being passed on for 200 years or 300 years and they are not improving upon themselves, rather they are neglecting their duties, then there is bound to be a decay and a decline. So this is what is going to happen, which we are going to unravel through the pictures once the PPT starts working. So is this much clear? You have understood the background of where we are talking about and what we are talking about. We are talking about France and we are talking about the Bourbon dynasty, how the revolution happened and what were the consequences of that revolution. How many of you have heard the name of Louis the 16th? Any history students here? Louis the 15th, Louis the 16th, and even the Louis the 14th. You have heard about the Palace of Versailles? What was it? What was the Palace of Versailles? Why was it so famous? Any idea? There are many palaces in the world. Why is the Palace of Versailles so famous? So it was a magnificent palace that is having glass interiors, and it was built as at a very huge cost by the French monarchs. So it is a place worth visiting if you go to France, and otherwise also you can check it up on Google how beautiful the palace is. So finally we have been able to succeed, and you will be able to understand through the pictures a little better than what I'm trying to say.
अच्छा, आपने कौन से रेवोल्यूशंस के बारे में सुना है इंडिया में या एनीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड? ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट, somebody is operating this. Next slide, please. The second slide. I've talked to you about this already. These are the revolutions which were famous in the world. Explain the difference between revolution and revolt. Next one. Yes. So this is a Bourbon dynasty that I have been talking to you about. Look at the number of years they had been ruling. From 1589 to 1793 was the first tenure of the Bourbon dynasty, and second it was 1814 to 1830. That is after the revolution of 1789. So this is something you should remember because I'm going to ask you towards the end of the lecture. This is the first stage, and then the second stage. And just now we have talked about overthrowing of the monarchy and bringing about a revolution in the world. So the prominent rulers here are Louis the 14th, Louis the 15th, Louis the 16th. These are the three rulers who are going to cause the revolution. Next, please. This is very important. Please see the slide, then I'll explain it. Now, anything that happens, if a revolution happens, if a kranti or a revolt happens, there are always causes. You just don't get up and you go and revolt. There are some background circumstances, there are causes that have been piling upon over the time, and then suddenly there is an outburst in the form of a revolution or an uprising or a mutiny or a revolt. Now, see the causes here that I have enlisted: financial and political crisis. Now, what happened? The French society, the French kings and queens indulged in a lot of extravagance. They were, like just now I told you, the Palace of Versailles, it was built at a very huge cost. It was made of glass interiors and it was majestic. There is a picture that will follow up later on in the presentation. So, and the taxes, the increased number of taxes, the variety of taxes, they also put a lot of burden on the people. How it was, again, I'll just keep on telling you as we proceed. The second was social inequality due to the estate system. Now, the society in France was divided into three estates or three categories. You understand stratification? Stratification is dividing into different categories. So, the society in France was divided into three categories or three estates: the first, the second, and the third, and they were unequal. Therefore, there existed social inequality. So, first estate consisted of the clergy. Clergy is people related to religion, right? Then the second was the nobility. Nobility were the richer and aristocratic sections of the society. And then we come to the third estate. Obviously, the third estate consisted of the common people like you and I. The common people consisted of lawyers, teachers, doctors, merchants, and all other people who were doing some kind of work. There was a section in the society of the third estate which was rich also. There were some rich businessmen also, and they were known as the bourgeois, right? So this is the division of society. Then we have tax burden on the third estate. I told you just now the third estate consisted of the common people. So maximum tax was paid by them. Unfortunately and quite paradoxically, the first and the second estate had all the privileges and were exempted from the majority of taxes, like almost no taxes. But the poor people, the common people, were burdened with the maximum taxes, which actually happens generally also. 98% of the population in France belonged to the third estate. Can you imagine the kind of tax that they were paying? And in order to sponsor the wars that the kings were fighting, they had to keep on increasing and imposing newer taxes, and those taxes were always on the common estate or the third estate. The rise of bourgeois. Now, bourgeois, I told you, it was a richer section, the richer businessmen that belonged to the third estate. So, the nobility and the first two estates did not like that amongst the common people, there were some people who were getting into the elite and the aristocratic category. So, bourgeois did not appreciate the kind of policies economically that were being followed by the government. thoughts of enlightened thinkers. It is very, very important. Now, some of the clerical record keepers and some of the royalists have imposed the cause and the blame, or you can say the entire of course, the blame on the enlightened philosophers for orchestrating the revolt of the revolution of 1789. How? These enlightened scholars, they consisted of people like Rousseau, Hobbes, Montesquieu, Voltaire, all of these people, they were enlightened people, they were highly educated people, and they started promoting the causes of democracy, nationalism, liberty, equality, fraternity, and they started writing against the monarchy and the way the monarchy was oppressing the common people. So you can say they were like thinkers. When we talk about India, we know like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Vivekanand, then we have Dayanand Saraswati, and so many such people who were reformists, who brought about social reforms, and they were enlightened thinkers when we talk about India. Here, these are the enlightened thinkers who perpetuated the ideas of democracy amongst the common people. Monetary crisis due to wars. Now, France had been involved in the war for a very, very long time. The first one is the American War, then the 7 Years' War, and there were other local wars that they were fighting with the neighboring countries. And for fighting a war, you need money, and for getting that money, you have to tax the people. Then inadequate leadership. Of course, the kings were very weak, ineffective. Louis XV was a very weak, and you can say he was not a capable ruler. Louis XVI hardly cared about the people and was indulging in self appreciation and self extravagance along with his wife Mary Antoinette. Next, please. Next slide. These are the three estates. Please see. Next. Okay, I have explained this to you how social inequality existed in France because of the existence of the three estates. Everything I have explained just now, whatever is written on the slide. Next, please. This is how I wanted to show it to you. You can see the first estate is the clergy, the highest class. The second is the nobility, and the third has also got categories, which are the richer businessmen and the peasants and the laborers were the most badly struck members of the society. Next. This is Emperor Louis XVI. So, a lot of blame for the outbreak of this revolution goes to Louis XVI for his negligent and his extravagant lifestyle. Next. This is the Palace of Versailles, please see. Look at the premises, look at the kind of project and how much money would have been spent on creating this great edifice. So this is why I wanted you to have a look at the slides. Next, please. Now, this is the Queen, Marie Antoinette. She was a very, very fashionable lady, and she used to get her dresses designed, and every single day she used to change three dresses. So can you understand the kind of money that was spent upon her dresses? She did not care about the people at all, and very important reason was that she was from Austria. She was married to the king. She was an Austrian princess, so the people of France never accepted her as their own. They always thought that she's a foreigner, and they hated her for the kind of indulgences that she was pursuing. Next, please. Age of Enlightenment. Again, I have explained everything to you. You can read. This is what I have already done. Next. Now, these are the enlightened people who used to have meetings and discuss things related to the overthrow of the monarchy or bringing about reforms in the society. Like they were very much against absolutism, tyranny, and the oppression that was being, perpetuated in their kingdom. Next, please. Okay, this is Robespierre. Have a look at him, then I go. This is Maximilian Robespierre, associated with the reign of terror that will follow. Next, please. Okay, Jacobin Club. Next. Alright. Now, what happened? Why did the revolution break out? Louis XVI, he needed some money, and so he decided to call the Estates General. Estates General was like a parliament of France, and it had not been summoned for the last 150 years. After 150 years, Louis XVI invites the Estates General to discuss some financial reforms. Right? Now, financial reforms again involves the increase in the taxation, some more taxes, and all the people were invited to this Estates General, the clergy, the nobility, and the third estate. Now, the division of voting on anything was like one vote for entire clergy. जितना भी clergy है उनका एक vote, जितना भी nobility है उनका एक vote और जितना भी bourgeois है उनका एक vote. So automatically we can understand that the first two will stand together and the third one will be defeated. So the third estate, raised the voice that we are not going to go with this decision of yours and we are not going to get involved in any more increase in the taxes in the country. So there was a standstill, there was a deadlock, and what happened was that the third estate made a walkout. They said we are not supporting whatever you are proposing in the parliament, in the estates, and they move out and they create an independent national assembly. जिसमें सिर्फ third estate के लोग थे, men and women, and they created a national assembly. Next. The next important event that happened was like these people who walked out of the Estates General, they went to a place called it was a tennis court, and they stood in the tennis court and took an oath, which is an important event in the history of the French Revolution. It is called the tennis court oath, and then they formed the National Assembly. After this, there was the next very important event, which is known as the storming of the Bastille. Now, this is a Bastille. Bastille is a fort जिसे दुर्ग कहते हैं हिंदी में. It was a fortified place. यहाँ पर ammunition रखा जाता था, and it was a symbol of royal power. All of the entire royal power was symbolized with the existing of the Bastille. Now the people belonging to the third estate, they stormed the Bastille and they destroyed and brought down the Bastille, which happened on the 4th of July in 1789, and that is celebrated as the Bastille Day, that is Independence Day. They declared their independence, which is a very, very important event. And Louis XVI was no more recognized as their ruler. Next. Now, women's march to Versailles. Now, after all this happened, Louis XVI declared कि अब Palace of Versailles में third estate की entry नहीं होगी. So the third estate was really annoyed with this, and the women marched up to the palace. After a lot of resistance, they were able to storm it. They got inside and they perpetrated their right. It was an absolute act of defiance against the existing monarchical system that was there in France. Next. This is very important. बीच में जो ये है guillotine है, this is a machine which was used to execute the people. Now what happened here? While the revolution was going on, Louis XVI understood his position was precarious and he and his wife decided to escape to Paris. उन्होंने एक plan बनाया that we are going to run away during the revolution. If the king runs away, don't you think it is a deception? The people await कि आप कोई reasonable decision लेंगे and then you are going to solve the problems. But the king and the queen decided to run away in the middle of the revolution to Paris. However, they were arrested. Then there was a trial. उनका पूरा case चलता है for deception and for a lot of corruption in the court because the court was under very, very heavy debt. So now, Robespierre, आपने Maximilian Robespierre का photo देखा था? He was a man who took everything into his hands, but he was a very cruel man. सब control करने की पूरी कोशिश उन्होंने करी, right? But the revolution turned out to be bloody and violent. Guillotine was innovated. It was created to punish people who were the perpetrators against the people involved in the revolution. So, इसी guillotine के अंदर Louis XIV was also punished to death. He was arrested. He was brought up to the stage. See this, and then the head was placed under the guillotine. It was a blood machine, and then his head was segregated from his body. So everybody who tried to raise a voice against Robespierre, now this was a very bad period because the things were in his control and many thousands of people had to be put to the guillotine. Next. Even Marie Antoinette, his wife, after the execution of the king, his wife was also arrested, and after 9 months she was also executed under the guillotine. Now can you imagine a dynasty which had been ruling for around 200 years, had been living in the best of circumstances, coming under the guillotine and succumbing to to the will of the people, the common people. Next. Next. This is the execution of Marie Antoinette. Next. Now, what comes out of the French Revolution? The king and the queen are killed, and France has declared a republic, and there is a declaration of rights. A constitution is framed, and the highlighted factor of the constitution of France was the aspect of liberty, equality, and fraternity. There was a rise in the feelings of nationalism. Do you understand the meaning of nationalism? राष्ट्रवाद क्या होता है? What? The love and the belongingness that you have for your country is called nationalism. Now, when from a monarchy, the French empire is converted into a republic, there is a rise in the feelings of nationalism. There is a constitution which is written, which is long, and it highlights all the principles of democracy or the rights of the people. Representation is given to the people, and the constitution is hailed as the utmost document in France. Now, this is also the period when gradually we see the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte rises on the basis of his merits, and he becomes the leader of France. Now, how the cycle comes back here is again very ironical. See, now Napoleon was a very talented man, he was a brave warrior, and he was an excellent leader at that time. However, with time, Napoleon starts gaining absolute powers. What did we study? We just now studied that the French Revolution happened against the monarchy for the rights of the people for democracy. Now, Napoleon, after some time, around 1799, he becomes so powerful that he declares himself to be the monarch. Isn't it an irony? So in 1804, till 1804, he is able to do this, but again there are wars fought against Napoleon, and Napoleon is overthrown and he's sent to exile where he dies of cancer later on. Next. This is Napoleon Bonaparte. Next. You have heard about Napoleon, I'm sure. These are the lessons that we learn from the revolution of France and also the revolutions that have happened across the world. The significance exists in the ideas that are perpetuated. What are we fighting for? We are fighting for liberty, equality, fraternity. The common people of France were oppressed because they were not given rights. Privileges were given to the first and the second estates. They were burdened with taxes. That means there were no economic rights. The country was burdened with debts of all kinds. Debts because of the king and the queen's extravagance. Debts because of the wars that they were fighting, and there were unnecessary wars that they were indulging in. So the entire burden had fallen on the common people, and the common people were also not given the right to vote. So all of this was done away with the coming in of the Declaration of Rights and the constitution that was brought in after the revolution of 1789. These are the immediate results, exact point-wise results. Feudalism was abolished. What is feudalism? Ownership of land, right? You understand feudalism? Ownership of land. Nobles and clergy lost all the privileges. Now, when there is equality, then everybody has the same privileges, same rights. Liberty, equality, brotherhood. Fraternity means brotherhood. Declaration of rights. All are equal. National Assembly, that is like a parliament, was created. Then churches, all the land and extra privileges that were there with the clergy and the churches, that was all confiscated by the assembly. And the constitution comes into being, which brings a constitutional monarchy. Now, this is something I would like to explain. Constitutional monarchy means that there is a constitution, but there can also be a king with much weaker position. Very weak, but as a symbolic. The monarchy just became symbolic, right? So, like in India, we have a republican system where the head of the republic is the president, but he is more symbolic. And the prime minister who is elected directly is more powerful. This is a slight difference. So here the constitutional monarchy exists, but under the control of the constitution. So these are the effects. Now, one important thing I would like to highlight here is that the Indian constitution is heavily inspired by the French constitution. The two main points that we have adopted is when you read the preamble of the Indian constitution, you see that we have the point liberty, equality and fraternity जो हमने French constitution से लिया है. And democratic ideals also, we have been inspired by the French Revolution. And the constitution of France is lengthy and it is a written constitution. So ours is also a written and a lengthy constitution. These are the things that we have got from the French constitution. There are many constitutions in the world, and Indian constitution is so bulky because we have been inspired and we have taken up a lot many ideas from different constitutions of the world. Is there anything else? So this is what I was saying. Like in our constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar made it a point to include the good points of other constitutions of the world. This is that. All right. So this is it. I'm sure you have been able to get a clarity about what is a revolution report, different revolutions that happen in the world, and of course the in detail the French Revolution, which is very significant for you to understand. You have to understand as students, not only as students of history. You must understand what is happening in the society and why revolutions are important for you to study and why man takes so much of an effort to organize these student week and student day so that you are able to be aware about the basics that are happening in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mahima Kashyap, President, Students' Council.
Hi, I'm Shika Singh, Vice President, Students' Council, our Girls Degree College. We are truly honored to stand before you on this special occasion.
It is now for one of the most awaited moments of the day, the prize distribution ceremony of the IQSC competition, Hindi Divas competition, and quiz competition.
May I request Professor Veena Rai, Principal, our Girls Degree College, and Chairperson of IQAC, and Professor Ranjana Krishna, IQAC Coordinator, and our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Sanober Haider, to kindly come forward for the distribution of prizes.
These competitions were organized under the banner of IQS to encourage creativity, critical thinking, and active participation among students. Today, we proudly honor the winners who have showcased their talent and hard work in various categories. Let us begin with the list of prize winners. Speech competition, English, third position, Prerna Negi. Second position, Hema Dela. And first position, Harshita Singh.
Poetry recital Hindi. Third prize goes to Khushi Singh. Second prize goes to Ankita Verma. And first prize goes to Manshi.
Viraj Negi. Third prize goes to Archisha Sharma. Second prize goes to Laviza Sushil. First prize goes to Khushi Rawat. English. Third prize goes to Kashish Chaurasia. Second prize goes to Suhani Singh. First prize goes to Faizan Ram. I'm posting. Now moving to the Hindi Divas competition. Slogan writing Hindi. Third prize goes to Aradhna Yadav. Second prize goes to Nisha Chaudhary. First prize goes to Sonam Tiwari. Story writing Hindi. Story writing Hindi. Third prize goes to Nupur and Kushi Pandey. Next prize. Second prize goes to Nisha Chaudhary. And first prize goes to Pragya Pandey.
All the winners, please come and stand here. Poetry writing Hindi. Third prize goes to Khushi Pandey and Mahima Kashyap. Second prize goes to Khushi Singh. And first prize goes to Ritika Bish.
Now moving to the quiz competition on the topic Constitutional Reflection of Mahatma Gandhi and Exploring Ideals, Influence and Legacy.
Third prize goes to Divya Rajput. Second prize goes to Mahima Kashyap. And first prize goes to Krishana Tiwari.
Congratulations to all the winners. Your creativity and enthusiasm are truly commendable. We hope those recognitions inspire you to continue participating and excelling in future events as well.
Congratulations to all the winners. May I now request all the faculty members to please come forward for the group photograph quickly. And all the participants and winners, please come on the stage. Winners can sit in the front on the knees, and the participants can come up on the stage.
On behalf of the Victory Club of our Girls Degree College, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Sanober Haider, Head of Department of History at Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Government PG College, Lucknow, for sharing her valuable insights on the topic Revolutions That Shaped the World. Ma'am, your words truly enlightened us and given us a deeper understanding of how revolution across time have transformed societies and shaped our modern world. We are sincerely grateful for your presence and your inspiring address. I would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Professor Beena Rai, chairperson of IQAC, for her constant guidance, encouragement, and unwavering support in making this event a success. A sincere thanks to Professor Ranjana Krishna, IQAC coordinator, and all other members of IQAC for their dedicated efforts in planning and organizing this enlightening lecture. We extend our gratitude to all our faculty members for their support, enthusiasm, and continued commitment to nurturing the spirit of learning and inquiry among students. A special thanks to the staff and support staff of the college whose assistance with logistics, planning, and execution ensure that today's event ran smoothly. And of course, a very special A big thank you to all the students, both those present here and those joining us online, for their enthusiastic participation. Their energy and curiosity truly made this event memorable. Thank you once again to everyone who contributed to making today's program such a success. Now, I would like to request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.